So this is how things kind of started off. I initially got this little Joyner 250 to kind of putt around in the desert, and things were fun. I was really enjoying stuff. It was a little two-seater, had okay horsepower, maybe got to about 35 going downhill with a tailwind. Things were great, but then one day my CV belt broke, so I decided the responsible thing to do would be to get a Hayabusa motor and engine swap it in conjunction with the transfer case so I can get forward, neutral, and reverse. I got the rear trailing arms redone, so I had a little bit more travel, quite a bit more travel actually. Did whole new rack and pinion, new tie rods, did some work on the trailing arms, painting them up and reinforcing them. Put in a whole new steering column, pedal setup. Also tested the durability of Carhartts with wire wheel flechettes, and basically proceeded to do all manner of small scale fabrication work, getting electrical sorted away, getting plumbing, cooling, oil, things of that nature all situated. What I will say is one of the most unanticipated, trickiest parts of this was getting the shift linkage to work. I built in a lot of travel and adjustment so I could really fine tune it, but I got it pretty dialed in. What it basically boiled down to was building a bell crank mechanism off the original shift lever that pushed this bell housing, which in turn rotated the shift linkage to the actual transmission on the bike, as you can see here. Wiring was a little bit of a pain, but I managed to make it work. I utilized 99% of the original motor's wiring harness. I did splice in some alterations so I can use a combination tail light turn signal. The original bike had three lights, one for brake, two for turn signal, but I did manage to figure out a way to wire it, so I do have turn signals and four-way flashers. So this is the side-by-side comparison, and this takes us to present day. All right, so current state of affairs. Um, Need it weighed and the proper coilovers for the shocks ordered. I need axles, obviously. I haven't actually filled the brake system yet. Pretty sure it's going to leak like a sieve when I do in there, so I probably gotta do some touch-ups and fittings with the flarings and stuff. But the clutch is all together, the clutch is all filled in. However, I did not put an over travel screw in the clutch, so a motorcycle clutch, which has a little bit of travel, and then a car pedal, which has a lot of travel, equals a slave cylinder cover that is cracked. So I have a billet one coming in to replace that, but it doesn't leak. Just dumb move on my part. I didn't put in over travel stop. Need to figure out some kind of way to attach this box for the battery cover. Cooling's all good, cooling's all done, electrical's done. I do need to get these bushings cut off and replaced with Imperial spec ones. These are some weird metric things that, I don't know if you can see it, but how thick it is on that side and how thin it is on that side. Yeah, they don't make replacements for this. None that I could find that are readily available. So I'm going to have this either drilled out or cut off and replaced with Imperial ones, bushings that I can actually get a hold of. But with that being said, if we kick this thing over, try to find the dang key. Alright, so dash lights up. We got normal headlights, we got high beams, and then I have turn signal, left and right. And then to get this thing started, I have to short the clutch interlock.
need an exhaust pipe too.
So I will say the prior knowledge I gained from doing a boat project really helped out. Namely, learning welding, did a little MIG, did a little TIG, electrical, way better grasp at reading the wiring diagrams and figuring stuff out, as well as molding ABS plastic. That's a pretty neat thing that I probably need to mess around more with. I will say there was an oddity with the ECU and the ignition circuit. Evidently, there's an anti-hot wiring mechanism built into the ECU where if it does not receive a specific resistance from one of the ignition wires, it will not give spark and it will not give fuel, but the motor will still kick over. It'll just turn and turn and turn, but it won't be firing off. So the trick was to get a 100 ohm resistor and wire it into the electrical ignition circuit, and that managed to get the thing to kick spark and pump gas. That's largely it. Been a project I've always kind of wanted to do, just like a small little mini buggy, something that's relatively economical, um, not gonna take a whole lot of tow capacity to move around. I got a little enclosed trailer that I'm also gonna convert into a mini camper, so I can pull behind my little Tacoma. But by and large, it's looking to be a pretty fun project. A lot of this information I kind of had to hunt for, and it isn't really available. It's checking sources and checking other sources and cross-referencing stuff and seeing what some other people have done. So by and large, there isn't really a one-stop shop for doing stuff like this. There is a bit over in Europe and UK. They have this mini buggy division racing thing that a lot of the common folk can get in on because it's pretty affordable and relatively cheap for parts and components. Matter of fact, the air filter came from the UK, a company called SDB. They're really prompt, really good people. Answered my emails and my questions promptly. But yeah, that's it. So if there's any questions or anything, just hit me up, shoot me a message, put a comment, and I'll try to get back to you. You have a good one.